In a small town nestled between misty mountains, there was an old, abandoned house that no one dared to enter. It was said that the house held a mysterious mirror, a relic from a forgotten time, which showed not just a reflection, but something far more sinister. One evening, a young artist named Mara, curious and unafraid, decided to explore the house. She had heard the stories, but her fascination with the unknown drove her to discover the truth.
Armed with only a flashlight and my sketchbook, I stepped inside the creaky, dust-covered door. The air inside was thick with the scent of decay, and the floorboards groaned under my feet.
As she ventured deeper into the house, she found herself drawn to a room at the end of a long hallway. The door to the room was slightly ajar, and a faint light flickered from within.
I pushed the door open and stepped inside.
The room was empty, save for an enormous, ornate mirror standing against the far wall. It was covered in a thick layer of dust, but even through the grime, Mara could see that the mirror was unlike any she had ever seen. Its frame was carved with strange symbols and images that seemed to twist and move when she wasn't looking directly at them. Compelled by an irresistible urge, Mara reached out and wiped away the dust from the mirror's surface. At first, she saw only her own reflection, slightly distorted by the age of the glass, but as she stared, the reflection began to change. Her reflection smiled, a smile that she wasn't making. Suddenly, the reflection's eyes darkened, and the room around it transformed into a different place entirely. Instead of the old, decrepit room she was standing in, the reflection showed a vibrant, beautiful world. A world that felt strangely familiar to Mara, as if she had seen it before in a dream. The reflection beckoned to her, as if inviting her to step through the glass. Mesmerized, Mara reached out and touched the surface of the mirror. To her astonishment, her hand passed through the glass as if it were made of water. Without hesitation, she stepped forward, feeling a strange sensation as she passed through the mirror's surface. On the other side, Mara found herself in a world that was both breathtakingly beautiful and hauntingly eerie. The colors were more vivid, the air more alive, but there was an unsettling silence.
You've made it. This is the world you've always longed for, isn't it?
The reflection, now a living, breathing version of herself, stood before her, smiling warmly. Mara looked around, recognizing elements from her own artwork, scenes she had painted, ideas she had dreamed up. It was as if this world had been pulled directly from her imagination, but something felt off. The longer she stayed, the more she realized that the reflection wasn't her. It was something else, something that had been waiting for her. Before she could react, the reflection reached out and touched her hand. Mara felt a cold rush of energy, and suddenly, she was looking at herself from the other side of the mirror. She was back in the dusty old room, but now it was her reflection that was alive, trapped in the mirror, while the imposter walked free in the real world. The new Mara, the one now outside the mirror, turned and walked out of the room, leaving the real Mara behind, pounding desperately on the glass, her screams silent and unheard. The imposter smiled, knowing that no one would ever suspect the switch, and that the real Mara would be forever trapped in the world of her own creation, a prisoner of her own reflection. Curiosity can lead to the discovery of our deepest desires, but it can also trap us in a world where we lose ourselves to what we fear most.